coming out of NXT on Tuesday night, I would say the most interesting aspect of NXT was the official on-screen debut of Simone
Yeah,
Johnson, aka Ava Rayne, the 21-year-old daughter of Dwayne the Rock Johnson, joining the Schism with Joe Gacy and company, introducing her as the masked. Hoodie wearing member of the group, the Disruptor. She cut a very brief promo, and I I just was not so much stunned, but it was very interesting, Andrew, to see how much like attention this debut
man.
got. Like Sports Illustrated, People, Entertainment Tonight, like everyone, The Rock's daughter debuts on screen. And I'm just watching her on Tuesday. It was like the spotlight that this woman is going to have on her is gigantic. I mean, it reminds me of like David Flair in WCW. It's like she will be, the comparisons are just going to be so unfair. And she's learning just here on national television. So she's been in this system for years. It's not as though they just, rushed her to
Yeah.
television. They have been very, she had an injury in there, but I remember Way being at a WrestleMania when she was sitting in the box with all the NXT people. Like that's going years back. So, it's been a very slow, maturation process, and I mean she's only 21, so it's just a very interesting person to be watching because I think that she's gonna have so much attention on her because of her last name and the fact that they are actively kind of going away from that with a different
Yeah.
name, and even the promo kind of distancing herself from the lineage.
Honestly, I think that that might be kind of smart to do because, like you said, there is going to be like a lot of attention on her. I don't maybe not so much pressure internally, but pressure from the outside. Like
Mm-hmm.
like you said, you got the Sports Illustrators, you got your New York Post, you got your Fox Sportses. Everybody's like all these major outlets are covering this because she is Dwayne the Rock Johnson's daughter. With that comes a lot of attention, and she is was it the fourth generation wrestler in
Mm-hmm.
their family, like in that in that lineage. So I mean, I do think it's kind of smart for there to sort of divert her away from that just for now. And like, I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not going to like sit here and like act like she's not the Rock's daughter. But I think it's more so about sort of let her sort of carve her own path and like find her own way a little bit, like without completely relying on or completely relating her to the fact that her father is like this mega star who
There's a time
yeah,
to do that. And
yeah,
I don't think this is the worst idea of like a different name. It's like, I know we all looked at like Braun Breaker, like here was a layup, but I
yeah.
just think this is a very different performer. It's something to be the son of Rick Steiner versus the daughter of The Rock. And I think that, she's coming into this to me, it's a very difficult system when you're starting from scratch. Like, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think she's even had a match in front of
No, she
people.
hasn't.
She's like,
Mm-mm.
she is complete. She did some promos back in the spring at live events, but I mean, she's been in the performance center. Like that is her experience. And it's going to be on national TV, like talking. Eventually you'll have to do a match with her, but that's a very tough learning process for somebody to be having their first match on national television. Like it's going to be very similar to like her father.
But see, the thing with Braun Breaker is like when you talk about like those comparisons and like how people was like, well, why don't you just call him Bronson Rick Steiner or Bronson Braun Steiner? Like the thing with people eventually got over it because Braun is a success. Like when you're looking at it, just breaking it down, he's a success. He turned out to be a success. So I think for her, it's probably going to be some of similar vein. Like she'll have to like turn out to be a success, and like maybe it might be good for her to be in this group setting because you have people to bounce off of you. Like it's not just you solely. I think it'll be very different if they were just throwing her out there as Ava Rayne with like a bland personality, or like here she is the grand reveal, and then she's on her own. Like now you got Zach Gibson and James Jacob, Rick Fowler and Jagger Reed along with Joe Gacy, who are good on the microphone, and she can be able to bounce off them like some experienced vets, and I think that might be good, just to start off. I think eventually, they're gonna break her away from that, and like maybe she'll have that singles spotlight. But I think just starting out with all that attention that's gonna come on her, it might be good for her to be surrounded by three other individuals who are established and have been doing this for a long time.
Yeah. For me, it's like it's certainly a surprise to see her fit in this sort of spooky type of gimmick, but I think it's exactly for that reason that we probably shouldn't be expecting her to just come out to play The Rock, for instance. You
Yeah.
know, like
she could have been attending Chase U. I mean, she could have been there
Young
with
Rock.
Thea Hale.
I mean, we also don't know what she herself likes. We don't know anything about her own personality. We don't know how much involvement she had in her decision or in the choice to perhaps be in a stable like this. Maybe this is who she is. Maybe it's closer. Maybe she's more comfortable playing this sort of character than, you know, I don't know, whatever else is expected of her. They're going to dance around the fact that she's The Rock's daughter, but like, I don't even think they have to dance around it so much. She kind of made, you know, clear allusions to it, talking about this being sort of like the family for her that, you know, where she doesn't need to live up to expectations. So I was actually impressed, you know, from what little we got to hear of her. She sounded somewhat comfortable on the microphone, and just remember the incredible amount of pressure that this person is under, knowing how many eyeballs are on her, including her father's, which I'd be most intimidated by it of all. But you know, like let's just kind of temper our expectations and realize this is somebody relatively, you know, new in at least on TV in a professional wrestling business, and just let her kind of develop, you know, in a smaller role.
Maybe she should have cut the promo at the end and said, "I'm more of a Marvel fan. I think DC sucks."
Ooh,
wow.
There you go. Can y'all imagine the amount of eyes that are going to be on her when they announce her debut in ring? Can you imagine?
They're probably going to build that up to be like a big episode of NXT. Yeah.
I would too. Definitely. If I was like, you know, leading, I would definitely be like building. That's a big deal, man. Like, and especially like we just talked about, like the amount of major outlets that were covering just her popping up on screen when they formally announced that she's going to be wrestling on TV or on, you know, one of their specials or premium live events. Like, that's going to be like a major deal for them. And you would think that I'm just curious as to who they'll pair her with. Cause I mean, relatively, there are a lot of like younger talents in NXT, like lesser experience, I guess. I'm just curious as to like who would be that first person that you would want to throw her out there with on a nationally televised stage, or maybe you take the South route and do like a mixed tag with somebody from the Schism versus another female competitor and another male competitor. Like maybe that would be the easier route to sort of take less pressure off of her, like for her first go around out there on, you know, on the big stage, quote unquote.